Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Speedrunners and Coffee, the show where we find out about all your favorite speedrunners. With me today, she has been running games since 2020, starting with Sonic the Hedgehog, Metroid Dread, VVV, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge, Sonic R, Sonic and Knuckles, well, Knuckles the Echidna in Sonic the Hedgehog, a modded game. Of course, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Hades, and Tetris Effect. The other Metroid criminal, Metroid Crime. The reason I call her the other Metroid criminal is because my name on many platforms was Metroid Thief for years. How are you doing
Awesome.
today?
I'm doing great, Abby. Thank you so much for having me on.
Not a problem. So, of course, the first question I have to ask is what got you into speedrunning?
Oh gosh. Okay, so I had been watching speedruns on like GDQ, like SGDQ, AGDQ for a while, for like a few years before I decided to kind of just go for it. I think I was watching, I can't remember which one it was, which event it was, but I saw 2chan running Sonic the Hedgehog and I was like, I love this series. I played it a lot when I was a kid. I think this would make a good speed game to, start learning speed running with, and I have no regrets. Seeing 2chan like effortlessly pull off all of the levels like super impressively, it just kind of made me really want to start speed running.
Very nice. Now, I have to ask this question because your name is Metroid Crime, yet you did not start with a Metroid game. Why did you start with Sonic?
So you see, I am a huge Metroid fan. I for the longest time when I first started streaming, I had a lot of people coming by and ask me like, why are you not just playing Metroid game? And it's like, well, I mean, like I get to play other games. But I don't know. I didn't really I thought that a Metroid game would be too difficult to start with because there's so much more involved in having to learn like a route through a game. And then there's like the concept of like backtracking because you have to like go back for items and stuff. And it felt a lot more complex to go and jump directly into something like Metroid Zero Mission or Super Metroid than it did to jump into something like Sonic, where it's all very linear. There's not much in terms of having to go back down a different path or memorizing a map. And it just felt like it was more accessible to start with something like a 2D platformer.
Very fair. Now, if linearity was your concern, I would have suggested Metroid Fusion, because that is a very linear Metroid game in
It
comparison to the rest
certainly
of the
is.
series.
Yeah.
So that may have been a good starting point if you wanted to speedrun a Metroid game. Fun fact, it's actually built off of the Wario Land 4 engine.
Ooh, good fun
So
fact.
that's a thing. Now, with your Sonic the Hedgehog runs, did you have an initial goal when you started speedrunning it?
Yeah, I remember my initial goal was to beat the game. So I I think I had splits up. Like my goal was to just kind of like just get through it, honestly. And because I hadn't actually completed a run, like I had done practice of the individual levels and everything, and I knew kind of the routes to get through it. But like I was seriously like floundering for like a month since I started. So I didn't submit my first speed run to speedrun.com until I think December something. But I started speed running around like mid-November. And it took me about a month of practice to finally like get a run completed. To be fair, I wasn't practicing like a ton, but it was my first speed game and everything was totally new to me. So my initial goal was to literally just get onto the leaderboard and not be last.
Very fair. I feel like
Yeah.
that's most people's kind of goal is to not be last. And to be fair, early platformers are brutal. Like whether it's Super Mario World, and I realize that's not early, but like till
Yeah.
like early '90s, '80s platformers are kind of brutal. It took me
Yeah.
years to beat Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Oh yeah, yeah. It can be very brutal. Like, and especially like I remember when I first started speedrunning it, like other people were like, "Yeah, I want to try this." And then like I'd see people like start to pick it up and then like be like, "No, this is hard. I don't know how you do this." And I think that's why I don't know, I really like speedrunning because like it makes things look so effortless when you nail everything, right? To the point where people feel like they want to try it too. And I think that's beautiful.
Very fair. Now, do
Yeah.
you have any influences in the speedrun world?
Um, a little bit. There's a lot of people I watch. I remember when I was first starting out, I was like obviously like I mentioned, I was really into like Sonic 1 and trying like meeting all of the people in the Sonic speedrunning community was really cool. So like I looked up to 2chan. Super Sonic was also a great runner. Candy and those are just like Sonic 1 runners, but it's been really interesting to get to know all sorts of people over the time since I started speedrunning in 2020. And especially with Lady Arcaders, I've met so many interesting and inspiring people through speedrunning. So while I can't quite name people specifically, I just it's been really cool to get to know all sorts of people from different communities. And as I jump around from game to game, I meet new talented people in all sorts of places. Yeah.
Very fair. Now,
Mhm.
how do you decide on a game to run? As I listed off quite the eclectic runs you do, very different, a lot of them. I realize there's a lot of platformers in there, but there's also some games that aren't. So, like, take us through like your process of picking a game.
Sure. I honestly, I tend to go for platformers because I am not a person who likes dealing with the camera in video games. Generally, if I'm going to any game that's like 3D and requires me to control a camera, I'm out. Which is why you kind of see the types of games that I run. I guess aside from Sonic R, which is very different because it controls very differently. I feel like racing games are a little bit exempt from that for me. But in terms of finding this new speed game, it's kind of hard. Like you'll notice that there's a bunch of runs that are on my list that I kind of like did one run for, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I want to continue. So it's been really interesting trying to find new stuff. I'm currently on the lookout for a new speed game. I've been trying to go between I've been looking at like Sonic Mania, for example. I've also been recently looking at Downwell, which is also a very difficult game, which is kind of a lot more RNG than anything else I've been looking at. But it's kind of like when I'm looking for a new speed game, I kind of look for something that I think will be fun for me, and I generally go for something that's short because the longest speed game that I run is Metroid Dread, and I feel like that's sometimes a little bit too long for me. It's very frustrating for me to be doing like a run that's like 2 hours, and then oh, you missed your PB by like 10 seconds, and it's like that kills me.
Okay, that's
um
very fair.
yeah, yeah, honestly. So like I can really get into a game that's about like 20-ish minutes long. 15 to 20, 25 probably is like my like I'm happy with that. A run that I can sit and like just pick up, like do one run of and just put down. Which is I think why I ended up getting so hardcore into V6 or VVVVVV. Because it's one of those games that's just like, okay, cool. I can really get good at this, and it doesn't feel like I have to be able to like murder my hands to do glitches or any sort of specific tricks. It's just all chill and just my D-pad and like a flip button, and I'm good. So yeah, I've been kind of looking for more games kind of in that style. And as I speed run more games, as I learn about some different genres and stuff, I kind of am getting more of a better idea of what I like in a speed game. And yeah, that's really cool.
Fair. Have you tried checking out the Freedom Planet games or Celeste?
Oh, Celeste is a difficult one. I don't know if I can do that. That game is very difficult. Oh my gosh, I am so impressed every single time I see that game being run. I have not checked out Freedom Planet though.
It's very Sonic inspired, so if you're a Sonic fan, it might be up your alley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's two games in the series, Freedom Planet 1, Freedom Planet 2. Creative, I know that I said there's two of them, so obviously they
Yep, it
renamed
sounds yeah.
1
Good,
and
good.
2. 2 is coming out on consoles in the summer. I'm not sure if you're more into console runs versus PC runs, because I know you
For
use a
me, anything
controller.
that I can do, yes, I love controller and I love anything with an auto splitter. I have a
Fair.
hard time running games without auto splitters now.
Oh, interesting. Very interesting.
They're so convenient. They're just absolutely so convenient. Good. I love it whenever a community is able to put an auto splitter together.
Are you playing anything currently, speedrun wise or not speedrun wise?
What am I playing? Yeah, so I'm speedrunning V like all the time. I literally load up this game like anytime I have free time just to just play through it because I'm trying to work on, my perfect gravitron, and I'm playing for I'm going to be in the multi-thon coming up soon, racing against Indie Villain. So of course I have to win that. And then I'm playing V again at Frost Fatales 2023. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of practicing on that. I mentioned I've been playing Downwell, which is a used to be well, I mean, it originally came out on mobile for iOS. It also has a Steam port though, and that game's super cool. It's pretty short. It's about descending down a well and not dying along the way. I've also recently picked up Love 3,
Oh, that game
which
is so good, but so fucking brutal.
oh my god, I know. I still haven't seen the race of it at GDQ. I've missed that run because I was sleeping in. I have to go back to watch it. But I picked like I yeah, I played a little bit of it. I think I played like 40 minutes of it, and I'm really loving the movement. So I'm probably gonna play that a little bit casually over the next little bit. But aside from that, I haven't really I'm trying to think. I'm playing Yakuza 3. I really like that series. Yakuza series is very good.
Do you think you would speedrun the Yakuza series?
Oh no, I don't think I could because it's 3D. Have to deal with it. Actually, no, there isn't really a camera in that game too much, is there? I think that's a long speed run though, right? That'd be a long speed run.
I have no idea. I
I
know
suspect
that
there's somewhere around like 3 hours.
I know that 7 is 4 hours, but I'm not sure about 1 through 6.
Yeah, let me see. Kiwami 2 is the best one I've played so far. That's about an hour and a half. Yeah, I don't know. The thing about Yakuza, it's such a great game. I honestly like had no idea what that series was going into it. I thought it was like GTA, and it is not at all. It's just a collection of
Oh no.
ridiculous mini games, and like Kiryu is like the absolute best, and I am like enjoying the heck out of that entire series.
Yeah. Are you going to go into Lost Judgment now that the series is split into two, whereas Lost Judgment is or Judgment is more traditional Yakuza, where it seems like the Like a Dragon, which still had the Yakuza name attached to it, is
Yeah,
going more
yeah.
into an RPG.
Yeah, so that's really interesting to me because like I'm only 3 games in. I plan on playing through all of them. I don't know how I've avoided spoilers up until this point, but I'm still gonna keep gonna keep avoiding them. Because I would love to play through all of them, like probably in order of release. Because gosh, I can't get enough of that series. The stories are so good, and the journey of the characters, and yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna try all of them. Try as many of them as I can.
Now, one thing about playing them in order of release, I would suggest not doing that because apparently they're coming out with a game that's in between 6 and 7
Oh, really?
sometime this year. I think it's this year. It's either this year or next year.
Okay. I'm probably not. You know what, though? I'm not going to get around to it before then. So I might be able to play that in order. Of
Fair
like
enough.
chronological order. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that's a thing. Are there any games that you're currently looking forward to running?
Like I said, I've been working on this Sonic Mania run recently. There's no leaderboard for it
This
technically.
is
I mean, there
the
is
Amy
the
Rose.
Amy Rose mod. So it's a Sonic Mania run, but it's a shortened one because Sonic Mania is like an hour and 20 minutes or something, I think, or 40. I can't remember, like 50 minutes, something long. And I was like, I want to run this game because it's really cool. The Amy mod is amazing. It's a fan made mod that introduces Amy Rose into Sonic Mania, and she has these cute little hammer spins and hammer bops, and she is just adorable. Her sprites are so cute. But I was like, I don't want to run a game that's like an hour long. So I was kind of like looking at the category extensions, and I saw this hang glider percent, and I'm like, what is this? Because it's only like 20-ish minutes long. This is like perfect length for me. And so I look into it, and it's like you play 4 levels through the game, and then you find a glitch. There's a glitch where you can grab a hang glider in Flying Battery 2 at the end of the level, and it just soft locks the game. And that's the end end of the run, and I love that. I love the idea of it just being like Amy Rose is gonna save the day, but then like she's like, oh, I don't want to deal with this, and she just pieces out on her hang glider. So I'm working on like ideas for like commentary for that, and like I've been really having fun with the actual run itself. So we'll see how it goes. I'd like to submit it to an event coming up, and see how it feels to actually run it and commentate it and everything.
I was
But
just
yeah.
about to ask how would that work in an event given that you're soft locking the game? It's like,
So
wouldn't that cause problems?
So it's actually, yeah, I actually have had my computer almost lock up before if I let it run for too long. Basically, it looks like it causes some sort of memory leak or something. So when you soft lock it, you just basically the screen just scrolls infinitely. And the airship and flying battery 2 flies by, and then you're left with like just clouds. So it has like it plays out this scene afterwards. It's soft lock. You can't like literally you can't quit the game. You have to like alt F4 out of it. And if you let it run on too long, it will like crash your computer. So
Oh
it's really
no.
interesting. Yeah. So yeah, I know that now though, so I won't let it run for like 2 or 3 minutes.
Is
Yeah.
there a game you
Mhm.
regret running or a game you wished you had continued to learn?
Oh, okay. I don't think that there's any games that I particularly I was gonna dunk on Sonic 2, but no, I'm not gonna do that. Sonic 2, I have my frustrations with Sonic 2, and the main frustration being mainly meme worthy in the fact that Sonic 2 is not Sonic 1, so I don't like it. But I I would like to go back to Sonic 2 eventually because it was my idea to do. I really wanted to do a classic Sonic trilogy run. But I'm suspecting that with my experience with Sonic 2, I might not like it as much. So maybe not. I don't know if I'm going to do that. In terms of games that I want to continue to run, well, I can talk about Hades. I loved playing Hades. I loved speedrunning Hades, but my gosh, my hands did not like that game. The constant mashing, I think gripping of the controller, like claw gripping the controller, was causing me trouble. I really like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. That game is also a little bit long though, but I think it has it's really interesting as a speed run. I really like the idea of doing a beat 'em up as a speed run, and it has a lot of opportunity for co-op play as well. So eventually I'd like to get back into that one. But for now I'm content with, concentrating on V6.
Very fair. You do put a lot of effort into that one.
I do. I do. I love that game so completely. It's such a good game.
And you also mentioned a Sonic trilogy won't run. Would that just be Sonic 3 or are we talking Sonic 3 and Knuckles?
I think it would have to be Three and Knuckles. I actually don't know. I know that there's leaderboards for this, and I don't know what they actually do, but I think it's Sonic 1, 2, and then Three and Knuckles. And that game, that's long because that's like 2 games in one, right?
Yeah.
um, but I think there's actually like a cartridge that has all three in one, and I think that's mainly what's used for that.
I have not a clue. I don't even know
Yeah.
if that's a legal cartridge.
I think
Because
it
I
is.
know
Let's see. I don't know if I can find it. I'll look for it later. But yeah, I know that I've seen people use it, and it has a more recent version of like it has a patched version of Sonic 2 that removes some bugs or something.
I was gonna say I don't know if that's a legal cartridge, but
Yeah.
is there a game you love but could never run?
Oh, yeah. I was thinking about this. I think it might be Cuphead. There's so many times that I'm like Cuphead, like I love Cuphead. I love Cuphead so much. I think it's such a great game. Beautiful art, feels good to play. It's just a bunch of boss fights back to back and I love that. And I love this game so much, but I think speedrunning it would kill me. I think it would suck all enjoyment of the game out of it for me. So I just like because I've considered I'm like, oh, I really like this game. I think I'm pretty okay at it. Would I enjoy speedrunning it though?
Okay, that's very fair.
Yeah.
What is your opinion on IGT versus RTA?
So I don't think I have as many opinions about this as because of the games I run. For me, like I think they all each have their own like uses. For example, like I know like for example all of the I think every single let's see all the platformers I run are basically IGT. The only game that I think I actually run with RTA is Metroid Dread, and that's because the IGT in that game is like broken. There's literally no way to get an accurate IGT for that game, so they run it by RTA. But yeah, I think they each have their own, like, it's dependent on the game itself. I think that menuing is kind of bullshit in games. I'm not a huge fan of like any speedruns where I have to do like heavy menuing just because I can't click through menus that quickly. So I think I would skew more on, I think IGT is a better way of timing if your game has IGT timing that's valid. Just because like menuing's tough. And I don't
That
think
is
people should be
fair.
penalized for that. Yeah.
Though it's interesting that you bring up menuing, because quite a few games that I run that have IGT, the IGT does not pause while you're menuing.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I was thinking about like the one game I can think of that I run that's similar is like, or sorry, that would have any sort of merit on this discussion, I guess, is Sonic R, because like for Sonic R you have to literally every single level you go back to like the main screen and then back into selecting the level. And that game is timed in IGT because there's like specifically so much that you have to do outside of running the tracks. So yeah, I think it's dependent. It's really dependent on the game itself. And I mean the communities themselves, like as people speedrun the game, I'm sure they would have a different opinion dependent on which game it is that was being run. But yeah.
Very fair. Given that this show is called Speedrunners and Coffee, what is your favorite coffee?
I like iced caramel latte. I think that is probably my favorite drink. I love iced coffee like so much. Also a fan of just like cold brew with like ice in it, like no milk, just black.
Fair. I think the first time I ever had an iced coffee, it was at the evil Canadian coffee chain known as Tim Hortons, and it
Yeah,
was the
yeah.
most disgusting thing I ever had.
Yeah, they don't have good iced coffee anymore, really. You gotta go to
I
like a
mean,
second cup or something.
I love Starbucks. Starbucks is great.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to Tim Hortons. I don't. But
I
their
can tell you.
coffee.
Do you want to know?
Sure.
I don't know if this is going too off topic, but we are talking about coffee. In
Yes.
Canada, McDonald's actually bought up the coffee supplier that Tim Hortons was using, and then forbade Tim Hortons from using it.
Oh,
So yeah, so
well
that would
then.
explain why their coffee went downhill. So if you're looking for Tim Hortons quality coffee, you're looking for McDonald's instead.
But I never had Tim Hortons coffee to begin with, so I think I'm good.
So you're safe. You're safe. You're safe then.
Because I didn't start drinking coffee until probably a year and a half ago, unless you want to count ice caps from Tim Hortons or like
Oh yeah, I mean, I drank so many ice caps when I was a teenager. Oh my god.
or like the fancy stuff from Starbucks, like
Yeah.
a double chocolate chip mocha or something like that.
Hmm.
But I didn't start doing coffee until maybe a year and a half ago, maybe even a year ago, something like that.
Yeah.
Because it never interested me because it always tasted like garbage.
Yeah.
Surprise, dear viewers, I used to think coffee was garbage, despite the fact that the show has coffee in its name. But Starbucks is probably my favorite coffee chain. I used to like when it came to like second cup and stuff, I didn't like drink coffee beverages. I'd drink like frozen hot chocolate or something like that, which is
Yeah.
amazing. And like again, I would drink ice caps from Tim Hortons, and that's typically what I still get even to this day. Because again, I had an iced coffee and it tasted like garbage, even with non-dairy milk.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was just like, no, thank you. And then Starbucks, which apparently there are more Starbucks in Toronto than there are Tim Hortons, which was
Interesting.
interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's another thing that's kind of cool because I live in the goddamn Tim Hortons capital of Canada because I live where it was founded. And
Yeah.
when I used to live downtown, there were 10 Tim Hortons around me within a 3 kilometer radius.
Oh my gosh. It's a lot.
Why?
Yeah.
Why is that a thing? I get that it was created here, but what do you need 10 of them in a 3 kilometer radius for?
You definitely
May
do
have
not
even
need
been
that.
less. And it's just like, so that's kind of my coffee experience. Of course, my favorite coffee isn't even like from a Starbucks or any like store that serves coffee as their main product.
Hmm.
It has nothing to do with that. And it's just like, okay, like I do love myself a cold beverage because hot beverages are kind of even on a
Yeah,
cold
I
day.
also
I'm like,
I agree. Yeah. Yeah. I'm the same way.
so it's just like whatever. And of course we have Zoku Bun responsible for my favorite coffee.
Oh?
So shout outs to Zoku Bun for getting me into Coke coffees.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That sounds
They
good.
are 555 milliliter cans, and it's half the calories of a can of Coke,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
it's either a dark roast or a vanilla. The vanilla kind of tastes like a vanilla Coke, and I
Okay.
haven't seen the caramel one. That might be something that's only in the United States. I don't know, but
Huh. This is
dark
very
roast
interesting.
is pretty good, but the cans are expensive as all hell. I usually
Yeah.
find them at a Shoppers for like $4 a can,
Oh
and
wow.
it's
Okay.
like, yeah. Although compared to every other drink they have there, it's also $4. Like the Starbucks double shots and stuff are $4 at Shoppers, or you can go to a Dollarama and get one of them for $2.50. Shoppers Drug Mart.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Overcharging for sure.
yeah, like holy man, just why? Also, speaking of Toronto, I want to bring this up because I may be moving there shortly, and
Mhm.
everybody in the Toronto area, check out Rolltation, specifically the Rolltation that's in Dundas Square or around the corner from Dundas Square. Oh my God, have you ever had a sushi burrito?
Yes, I have. I was just about to ask if it was the sushi burrito place.
It's
Yes, I have. Yes.
so good. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it is. It is really good. Yeah, I agree.
The fact that they use seaweed roll for the bread part,
Mhm.
like, oh my God, I was
Yeah.
amazed.
Yeah.
I had one last week and I was like, oh my God, so good. I definitely recommend this. There are two locations almost on the same street. They're just really further apart. I had the one that was around the corner from Dundas Square, so that's why I'm recommending that one. Plus it's a bigger location. The other one looks much smaller,
Yeah.
and like apparently you can order like your own custom like burrito, or you can have it in like a bowl, or you can have it with some noodles, I think. I
Huh.
forget all the options, but like the burrito, it was like, why does this work? Why is it
Yeah,
so
I know,
good?
right?
So good.
Yeah.
Back to the speed running.
Oh, I don't blame you. I get distracted by food all the time. Believe me.
I mean, I wanted to bring that out because I mean the show is speedrunners and coffee, and I wonder
Yeah, yeah.
how a sushi burrito would taste with a coffee. So it's like, but I had to bring that up because we're both like in that general area to be able to get
Yeah.
this thing. So I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
please get this thing. If you are in Toronto, go seek these things out because they're fucking amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God. But what was your proudest and lowest moments as a runner?
Oh gosh. Okay. I think my proudest moment was probably God, it's difficult. This is difficult. Probably when I got into Frost Fatels 2022 with my Sonic run. I was like I was so so happy. I was so shocked. I was not expecting that to happen like whatsoever. And like honestly, anytime that anyone asks me to be part of something, I'm so happy that people like consider me to like do things. It's really like it's a joy. But also I have to say in terms of I don't know if it's specifically speed running, but I guess starting Lady Arcaders and having that kind of take off was a moment that made me extremely proud. Specifically seeing all of the Lady Arcaders like submit to events, like us getting things off and kicked off, and then seeing all of the amazing Lady Arcaders get into several different events all at once was like a really emotional moment for me. Made me extremely proud of everyone and proud that we can, be supporting women to put themselves out there for events and give them confidence to do so. So yeah, that makes me that whole thing, everything surrounding Lady Arcaders makes me so proud. Even if it's not specifically speedrunning related. But let's see, lowest moments. There's definitely been times when specifically with V6 where I'm stuck playing it for like 6 hours and I feel like I'm just bashing my head against a wall. And that feeling is awful and I hate being in that moment. The kind of like the self-doubt and the anxiety around trying to achieve a goal, I guess.
I think we've all been there where we're just like,
Yeah, yeah.
come the fuck
Yeah,
on.
exactly.
Just
Yep.
fucking let me have this, you piece of shit.
Oh my god. Yeah, I've been it was the grind I think for sub 16 minutes that really got to me for V. It took me like a month and a bit, and it's I mean currently my current time is also giving me some frustrations. I think it's also for me amplified because I'm also like in a competition against like indie villain. So like seeing him like get this time or like this amazing PB, like he's like 9 or 10 seconds ahead of me right now. And it's like, okay, come on. I've been trying for like 2 weeks now and I still can't catch up. And I'm like, I know that I can do this. We have the same we have like very similar sum of best. There's no reason why I shouldn't be able to get at least to his time to tie it. And you know, that kind of thing can be frustrating. Especially like I'm at the point now in this game where I'm like basically just hiding my splits completely and not showing myself any times. Because it's just at the point where it's like, okay, I know that I can PB even if I have a terrible run here. I just need to force myself to not be anxious for the final parts of the run. But yeah, I guess anxiety and speedrunning is like a huge problem for me. But you know, I'm trying to work on it. I'm trying to, you know, realize that, you know, just because I have a good run, it doesn't, and I screw it up, it's not the end of the world. I can get pretty consistent runs a lot, and knowing that it's something that I will get eventually kind of helps me. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Speedrunning's tough.
Yes.
I mean, you know this
Yes, it
too.
is.
I think we all know this if you're a speedrunner and you're listening to this. Yeah, lot of challenges just all around.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time, speedrun wise?
Oh my gosh. That's a scary question for me because I couldn't have told you that like a year ago that I would be in the position that I am in now speedrunning wise. You know, I'm just going to say complete global saturation maybe. With lady arcaders, I hope. Hopefully, you know, encouraging get or I guess encouraging other people to go for things, to apply for things. In 5 years, I'm hoping that I'm like, I don't know. I hope I can get a perfect gravitron in V6 by then. But I don't know. I'm hoping also to get involved in more events and, you know, trying to encourage people to, well, encourage people to kind of go for things because, you know, I mean, like there's a lot of elitism in gaming in general and in speedrunning even itself, and just like kind of encouraging people to kind of like break down those barriers and breaking down those barriers with stuff like lady arcaders. I really hope that in 5 years things are a little bit better and people are more accepting. And we get more, you know, diverse events featuring all sorts of people. And yeah, I'm kind of rambling on a little bit here.
It's
But
okay.
I hope that, yeah. I guess I'm kind of like going on like more of a broad I love to see the world change type thing rather than myself. I don't know myself specifically. I hope I'm still speedrunning in 5 years though.
Very fair. And speaking of events, do you have any event rituals?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So this is more of like a nervous thing for me, but literally every single time I am about to like I've been getting better at about this. I've been getting better about being on events and, you know, not getting so anxious about it. But I tend to be a person who like just I pace around my apartment for like hours before. Like just trying to like compose my thoughts and like calm myself down. But in general, I just like I try not to do it like depending on when the run is in the day. I try not to do anything stressful or anything that's going to cause me stress right before. I usually try to like speed run the game that I'm running like maybe like once with like no resetting about a half an hour to an hour before the actual performance, just so I kind of am a little bit warmed up because it can be a little stressful and backstage. Like I definitely won't get a chance to practice like after the tech check or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything that I'm like superstitious about or anything with in terms of that, but there just tends to be I tend to do a lot of pacing beforehand. Try to, you know, get out that nervous energy.
That's fair.
Yeah, yeah.
If you could create a game from an entirely different genre and add it to your favorite series, what genre of game would you add?
Okay, so I was looking at this question. I was like, I honestly don't quite know. But I was talking to my partner actually before, and he's like, how about like visual novels? And I'm like, oh my god, that is like, I love visual novels. Visual novels are great. And I was thinking about how great it would be to have a freaking Yakuza game in a visual novel style, like crossover with like Phoenix Wright, like Kiryu and Phoenix Wright, like solving detective problems. And like, yeah, I think that would be a really interesting mashup to have, like Yakuza plus Phoenix Wright style visual novel series.
I think the closest thing we've gotten to that is Project X Zone because it was a collaboration between Sega, Namco, and Capcom. There are two games. I don't think anything like this happens, but I do know that Kiryu and Phoenix Wright are in the game.
Really? Wow, okay, that's a good crossover then. Hey.
um, and their Game Boy or not Game Boy. They are 3DS games.
Okay, huh.
So
Interesting.
yeah, that is a thing. Is there a skip you wished was in a game you run?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I was gonna say I hate the Gravitron, but like there is a category that completely skips the Gravitron in V6. Let's see. I mean, I would like love to not have to do the. Can I skip a skip? Can I choose a skip that I would like to skip in a run? Because it's the Atom skip in Metroid Dread. I hate doing that thing.
Oh, why do you hate Adam Skip? Why do you want to
It's
hear Adam talk?
No, listen, I don't want to hear Adam talk, but I wish I didn't have to do the skip to do it, because the skip is like, I don't even how many frame, it's like 6 frame perfect inputs. Like it is miserable. And I hate that you basically that skip is in like every category of Metroid Dread because it's glitchless.
Oh,
Yeah.
well
So
then, that's unfortunate.
and it's fine, like it's fine if I'm practicing it frequently, but like sometimes I will sit there for like 20 minutes being like, why can I not get the timing of this? This is silly.
I don't know. It's
Yeah,
your decision to
that's true. Yeah,
do the skip.
yeah.
I mean, you could
That's
just
true.
do the
That's
run
true.
while
I could
listening
just
to
do the
the.
run without talking to Adam. Yes, it is true, but I like disrespecting him. I just don't like the way I have to do it.
Well, that's your problem then. That's you have no one to blame but yourself.
That's true. It's very true. I will take the blame.
So, is there anything else you wish you could skip in a run?
This is, you know what, this is, I was thinking as you're talking about this to me, I'm thinking that this is a very interesting question for me, a primarily glitchless speedrunner. The reason I do glitchless for the most part is because I like seeing as much of the game as I can. So I'm having a very difficult time coming up with an actual answer to this, because I love the games that I speedrun, and I love seeing all the things in the game that I speedrun, especially Metroid Dread, which is why that Adam skip frustrates me so much.
Why you would ever want to do, I can't remember his name, but if you do early, oh god, I think it's early screw attack, you can completely skip a boss.
Yeah, you skip Z57, which is
Yeah.
my favorite boss. It's my favorite boss, though.
I hate that thing. I was so glad
No!
when that was discovered because I was like, I could skip this asshole. Yay!
Oh, but it's such a fun fight, especially with the shine spark into his face at the end. Like takes out, just completely knocks him out. It's such a fun fight.
Yeah, except for I can't shine spark into his face.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I especially like, I guess the reason why my run is so long for Metroid Dread is also because I am doing all bosses for that like that's the category I run. Yeah. I don't know. It's a tough question to answer as a primarily glitchless runner for me.
That is very fair. I cannot help you answer the question because I
Yeah.
don't know how to answer the question for you. This
Yeah.
just sounds like a you problem.
Yeah, I think it might be a skill issue actually.
Skill issues. Oh no. You're doomed for all eternity to have to listen to Adam unless you do 6 perfect frames.
No.
Yes.
Why?
'Cause it's your own fault.
True.
Dun, dun, dun. Yes. So if people wanted to find you, where could they?
You can find me all over the internet as Metroid Crime. That's Metroid_crime on Twitter and Instagram, but Metroid Crime one word everywhere else. Being TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, co-host. Probably find me those places or MetroidCrime.com. All my info's up there. You can find out when I'm doing events, and all that stuff right from my website. Yeah.
You can also kind of find her at Lady Arcaders as well. You know,
Yes.
she
Yeah.
she is kind of the founder of that.
Yeah,
So
let me
so
plug.
you,
I'll plug Lady Arcaders as well. You can find you've heard me talk about Lady Arcaders. We are an all women's gaming collective. We run showcases on our Twitch channel on Thursdays and Sundays. On a series called Attract Mode. Any women are allowed to apply for that. You don't even have to show off something speedrunning related. If you want to like do some arts and crafts, you want to do programming, you want to do music composition, we'd love to see it. We'd love to see it. And if you're not super interested in performing on Attract Mode, we also just have a private cozy community that you can join. We're really friendly there and it's really lovely. But that's at
yes.
ladyarcaders.com. So please feel free to check us out there.
Yes, indeed. That's how we met because
Yeah.
I was I don't know what I wanted because it wasn't brave. I was crazy enough to be like, "Oh, an event. Me put in, see if me can do."
Yeah.
Was simply how it was done. But of
Yeah.
course, you can usually see crime on the Twitches Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. She
Mhm.
does something a little special for Fridays. I definitely recommend the Friday show. Just
Definitely.
saying. And sometimes you can see her typing away in chat on Sundays, as Lady Arcaders is every Thursday and Sunday,
Mhm.
9 p.m. on the Thursdays and 2 p.m. on the Sundays.
Mhm.
Haha. But yes, I'd like to thank you for coming on to the show today. We have learned lots. We have learned about your favorite coffee and your speed running history. Ooh. I don't know
Yeah.
why I'm trying to be a ghost, but I guess I'm being a ghost.
Ooh.
But yes, thank you all so much, and we will see you next time. Bye bye.